Welcome back to the Uncanny Valley. Today, we're plunging into a chilling account from the late 1990s, a case that, well, it starts as a local mystery and swiftly spirals into something profoundly unsettling. We're talking about a stretch of road so notorious, the press actually gave it a truly ominous name, the Devil's Highway.
It's a really remarkable narrative. It traces how what seems like a pretty standard series of missing persons cases quickly transforms into this complex tapestry, woven with unexplained phenomena, ancient lore, and these hidden clandestine power struggles. It's a story that's almost designed to challenge every assumption we might hold about, well, the fundamental nature of reality itself.
Yeah, picture this. 13 people. They just vanished without a trace along U.S. Route 70, deep in the Arizona desert. And this is specifically within the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. Tribal police, state investigators. They're at a complete loss, just utterly stumped by the silence of it all. So naturally, the FBI steps in. But what they eventually unearth isn't just, a grim criminal trail. It's a journey into a realm of terror that goes way beyond Arizona. It leads them face to face with an evil, deeper, and frankly, more alien than they could possibly have imagined.
Right. Our exploration today draws heavily from a highly detailed scenario document. It's a meticulously crafted fictional account, really.
Yeah.
But this source allows us to delve into a narrative where the mundane facade of everyday life just cracks wide open, revealing these truly extraordinary and terrifying forces at play. It's sort of an ideal lens for understanding how multiple seemingly disconnected threads can weave together and create this horrifying, inescapable whole.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack this intricate narrative. We want to pull out those surprising facts, those aha moments that might just change how you perceive the hidden layers within our own world. As we go, you'll hear about strange creatures, ancient spirits, secret government operations. So what does all this really mean for us? And how can dissecting such a carefully constructed story maybe sharpen our ability to spot the subtle, unsettling truths that often lie just beneath the surface? Okay, let's start at the beginning then. Let's set the scene for these initial, really inexplicable events. Our story unfolds in the late 1990s, and it focuses on U.S. Route 70. It's this long, lonely stretch of highway cutting right through the heart of the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation in eastern Arizona. And this wasn't just like a few isolated incidents. It was a chilling, escalating pattern of disappearances.
Oh, absolutely. The source material meticulously documents 13 individuals vanishing over approximately 1 month. This wasn't random crime. It signaled a significant and terrifying pattern, almost like a focused targeting along this one highway.
Huh?
The sheer concentration of these events, in such a short time, immediately suggested something profoundly unnatural was happening.
And the victims? The sheer diversity is baffling. Take the Kirtleys. An elderly couple, Alan, 57, a roofing company owner, and his wife, Karen, 53, an accountant. They disappeared on July 4th. Their car was found later, flat tire, right on Route 70. But no sign of them, no struggle, just an empty car. And by all accounts, stable life, good relationships, no debts, no crime links, just gone, vanished.
And just 2 days later, July 6th, the pattern continues. Felix Royos, a 20-year-old Hispanic gas station attendant. He vanished during his night shift, same highway. Okay, maybe he had a few minor juvenile arrests, but nothing recent, no known criminal associations or enemies. His disappearance was just as baffling, just as silent as the Kirtleys. Different backgrounds, different lives, but the same outcome. It really emphasizes the indiscriminate nature of whatever was doing this.
Right. And the mystery just got deeper. July 10th, Ed Stoltz, 32, a mechanic, and Chris Martin, 30, an assistant manager, reported missing. They had been fishing on San Carlos Lake, maybe 6 kilometers south of Highway 70, their camp, found completely abandoned. Again, no signs of violence, no emergency, just an empty space where they should have been. These guys were from Phoenix, no criminal records, just out enjoying themselves. And the silence again. Profoundly unsettling.
And this thing, whatever it was, its reach kept spreading. It even pulled in international visitors. Around July 15th, 2 European couples vanished. Same bizarre circumstances. Wolf Trotner and Frieda Ohlenberg, both 22, German, on a vacation after national service, and Dieter and Vera van Olsen, Dutch, older couple, 65 and 60. He was a retired VP of petroleum exploration. She was a homemaker. Their rental cars found abandoned on Route 70. No mechanical issues, no sabotage, just empty cars. They had no known U.S. connections. Just underscored this vast, seemingly random net being cast.
And then, maybe the most devastating one, around July 27th, an entire Apache family, the Biguets, vanished right from their beds. Victorio, 42, a respected sheep rancher, his wife Louisa, 38, and their 2 teenage sons, Luca, 13, and Paco, 15, gone. Their flock just left unattended. Their ranch was, what, within 25 kilometers of Highway 70? So right in that zone. Respected family, no enemies, no criminal records. The sheer variety of victims is just staggering.
Yeah.
Local teens, retired tourists, whole families. And the pattern, or lack thereof, is equally baffling.
That's exactly it. The chilling common thread, if you can call it that, across all these cases is the absolute lack of any struggle. No signs of violence, no valuables taken beyond what they had on them. This isn't typical kidnapping. It's not murder for profit. It suggests something highly organized, or maybe
Otherworldly.
right, an otherworldly method of abduction. The total absence of evidence for any conventional crime is what really sets these apart. It forces you to consider that maybe the perpetrator wasn't, human at all.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, when your standard investigation tools just fail completely, when you're faced with something so silent, so diverse in victims, how do you even begin to investigate? What do you do when the crime itself seems to defy reality? So, okay, the Arizona Highway Patrol, the Apache Tribal Police, they're completely stumped. The national press gets wind of it, starts calling it the Devil's Highway. The pressure's building. Local authorities can't find any leads. It becomes a national story demanding federal help.
Exactly. And that media attention, combined with the complete lack of bodies, which usually points to murder, right? That led the U.S. Attorney's Office to suspect mass kidnappings instead. And that suspicion, kidnapping, is what officially brought the FBI in. But behind the scenes, the FBI leadership had its own worries, concerns that went way beyond just finding missing people.
Yeah, the FBI's Phoenix special agent in charge, Patrick Hobson, described as an exhausted veteran near retirement. He assigns agents, but with this very specific kind of underlying mandate, right? He was trying to avoid a political mess, especially given the location.
Absolutely. The higher-ups at the FBI were privately very worried about tribal relations, highly sensitive to any potential for radical Native American activity. They desperately wanted to avoid another Pine Ridge situation like in the 70s. That was a huge political headache. So this meant the agents weren't just looking for missing people. They were told explicitly, assist, don't take over. Imagine that. A high-stakes investigation on a political tightrope. Their bosses were maybe more worried about bad PR than finding bodies.
And the local liaisons just added to the complexity. You had Major Frank Garrett, Arizona DPS, described as charming but racist, a Western cowboy anachronism. He took the FBI's tech help, but made it clear he was in charge. Then there's Chief Alejandro Colorados, the Apache Tribal Police liaison. Popular on the reservation, fiercely protective of tribal sovereignty, deeply distrustful of the U.S. government, but he also knew something incredibly dangerous was loose, threatening his people. So the agents are just walking straight into this political minefield. Federal, state, tribal tensions, decades of mistrust,
Right.
all while trying to solve a case that makes no damn sense.
It really highlights the complexities beyond the crime itself. It wasn't just about finding people. It was about navigating these deeply ingrained social historical tensions. Huge challenge for the agents. They couldn't just follow the evidence. They had to constantly manage these relationships, knowing any misstep could blow up into something much bigger. A total pressure cooker from day one.
Okay, so then comes the first real break. It comes from an unexpected discovery, or maybe an unexpected action. A car found buried near Highway 70. But the way it was found, that changes everything. Points to something really unnatural.
Right, the key here is how it was found. The white roof of this buried car was spotted, but it wasn't exposed by people. An animal had apparently taken great trouble to dig it up. And the tracks, clearly coyote tracks, which is, well, it's highly unusual behavior. Why would a coyote expend that much energy digging something up and then just leave it, not eat it? It immediately suggested, some level of intelligence or motivation beyond normal animal instinct.
And this discovery was made about a kilometer north of Route 70, maybe 25 kilometers southeast of the Bigay Ranch. Inside the car, the decomposed body of Kenneth Braverman from Houston, Texas. Cause of death, massive abdominal trauma, a huge hole in his belly, intestines spilled out. And get this, his lungs had been removed after death. Even weirder. Despite bloodstains, the body was mostly drained of blood, way less than you'd expect. Forensics found 2 sets of prints inside Kenneth and his wife, Elaine Braverman.
And then the Houston connection. That just blew the case wide open. Braverman wasn't just some random victim. He was a Houston police officer. And the prime suspect in a horrific series of 17 prostitute killings back in Houston between May and July that year. These victims were all found drained of blood, some molested. Many showed signs of being field-dressed like deer, a gruesome detail suggesting cannibalism.
Oh my God, and it didn't stop there.
No. When Houston PD searched Braverman's home, they found his own children. partially cannibalized, also bloodless. His wife, Elaine, and the family car were missing at that point. Houston police had been completely baffled, thinking Braverman acted alone. Finding his body in Arizona, killed like that, really forced them to totally reconsider. There's no way he could have done that to himself. That this wasn't suicide, he was another victim.
Okay, so let's just process this biological horror for a second. We've gone from silent disappearances to this cross-state trail of a serial killer, cannibalism. The mystery just deepens at every turn, and that coyote, digging up bodies but not eating them, the pieces just don't fit any normal puzzle. It points to a completely different, way more unsettling kind of intelligence. What does this say about something that actually feeds on fear?
Right. Which makes you ask, what kind of entity could leave such a horrifying, utterly confusing trail? The autopsies of Braverman and later the Begay's, they started painting a picture of something truly alien, something operating way beyond human comprehension, even beyond our biological understanding. These weren't the signs of any known predator on Earth.
Let's get into those autopsy findings because they are absolutely key to understanding this thing. Braverman's body, for instance. It showed an enlarged 8-week-old abdominal wound about 4 inches long, and it had been expertly sewn shut using surgical thread.
Yeah, that immediately pointed, chillingly, to the Dischorder's prior host being a medical examiner, someone who knew how to do that. It shows its terrifying adaptability, using the skills of its hosts.
And beyond that, what else did they find?
What the autopsies really showed was this incredibly precise, almost surgical manipulation of the human body. We're talking direct punctures into the adrenal glands, the things that flood us with adrenaline when we're terrified. And similar needle-like tracks into the brain, specifically from the base of the skull right to the amygdala in both hemispheres. Those are key parts of the brain for emotion, for the fight-or-flight response. And finding adrenochrome, a waste product of extreme prolonged stress that wasn't just incidental. It clearly showed this creature wasn't just killing, it was actively harvesting their fear, prolonging the agony to get the most of these specific potent compounds. It's a level of biological targeting that just redefines predatory behavior.
And the Begay family. And their sheep. Same kinds of things.
Equally disturbing. Multiple needle-like wounds again, bodies drained of blood, and critically no lividity, that's the natural settling of blood after death. Its absence here tells us they were likely drained almost immediately.
Yeah.
Or maybe manipulated somehow to prevent that natural process. Just adds another layer of the unnatural, the precision, the speed. It's terrifying.
And wasn't there something about a tranquilizer?
Yes, that's maybe the most significant biological clue. Traces of a tranquilizer found in the central nervous systems of all the victims, and this substance, completely unknown to science, suggesting, possibly, it wasn't from Earth. Its function was horrifyingly specific. It blocked voluntary nerve messages, completely paralyzed the victim, but involuntary actions continued. Imagine that. Fully aware, fully conscious, but unable to move, scream, resist. Just pure agonizing helplessness.
Oh, God. And there was something else. Necrosis. Before death.
Pre-death necrosis, yeah. Cell death occurring in the amygdala, the adrenal glands, and even the enteric nervous systems. That last one, in humans, produces like 90% of our serotonin, regulates mood, feelings of well-being. This suggests that intense fear, anxiety, depression. They weren't just present, they were actively cultivated, inflicted on the victims before they were drained. It wasn't just about the blood, it was about the experience of terror.
Okay, so let's try and put this terrifying biological profile together. Unknown alien tranquilizer. Bodies systematically drained of blood. Overwhelming evidence of immense prolonged fear and suffering inflicted before death. This is way beyond human capabilities. A level of biological and psychological manipulation that it's just not possible for any known killer. It's like an architect of agony.
Precisely. And if you put all that together, these findings point towards a malevolent extraterrestrial parasite. The source gives it a name, the Dischorder. Its very nature seems engineered not just for survival, but for maximizing suffering and consumption. A profound alien evil. It's a predator evolved to exploit the very core of sentient life.
So what is the Dischorder, physically, beyond its effects?
The source describes it as a silvery cluster of ganglia, like nerve tissue, at the nexus of these nerve filaments, weighing a bit over a kilogram. It sounds less like a single organism and more like maybe a biological computer, a sentient network controlling its host from inside.
That's a good way to put it. And its method, how it takes over.
Terrifyingly efficient and insidious. It hijacks the host's nervous system, completely subsumes their will. It basically inserts itself between the host's brain and the rest of their nervous system. But the truly horrifying part, the source says the host remains horribly alive and aware of the horrors their body is perpetrating. It's not just control, it's conscious, agonizing torment for the person trapped inside.
And its feeding habits, incredibly specific, almost ritualistic.
Yeah, it needs blood. Extracts it with a needle-sharp proboscis from the host's mouth, but only from unresisting prey. That's likely where the tranquilizer comes in. But more importantly, it's addicted to specific neurotransmitters, adrenaline and serotonin, produced in the victim's brains and its host's brain. During intense distress, fear, anxiety, depression, it's literally a junkie for suffering. It creates this sustained internal horror factory.
And it's adaptable, uses the host's skills.
Frighteningly so. It can seamlessly use any skill, memory, personality trait the host has. Makes it a master of disguise, deception, efficiency. It can even animate a host's corpse, making a post-mortem host incredibly strong, unnervingly resistant to damage. Imagine facing what looks human but moves unnaturally fast, is impervious to normal wounds, and communication. It mostly taunts victims, makes their fear worse, or, if cornered, it bargains, offers alien tech secrets to escape. That intelligence makes it way more than just a beast.
Okay, so how did this architect of suffering end up on a remote Arizona reservation? Those news clippings you mentioned trace its path, a cross-country trail.
Exactly. This itinerary isn't just a list of places. It's a chilling demonstration of the Dischorder's appetite, its strategic cunning, its calculated way of moving host to host. Each new host gives it fresh skills, fresh opportunities for mayhem and feeding, leaving this baffling, deadly path across multiple states.
So where did it start? West Virginia?
About 6 months before the Arizona events, yeah. A larval form arrived, hidden inside a meteor shower over West Virginia. Didn't waste any time. Found its first host, Mac Tooley, a widowed backwoodsman. As Tooley, it preyed on humans, cattle, until police started closing in. Then, cold calculation. The Dischorder killed Tooley, bullet to the head, to escape. The autopsy later found human tissue in Tooley's gut. Grim hint of what he'd been doing.
And from there, it got smarter.
Oh, yeah. During Tooley's autopsy, it somehow subdued the medical examiner, Dr. Brenton Clark, surgically implanted itself into him, instantly gaining Clark's medical knowledge, surgical skills, which it used later for those gruesome modifications. Dr. Clark vanished from his Nashville apartment soon after. Another unexplained disappearance.
Nashville. Then it switched again. To a priest.
Father Willard Franklin, director of St. Bartholomew's Shelter for the Homeless. Its first act as Father Willard, cannibalizing Dr. Clark's corpse, shows its hunger. Then it started feeding on the homeless, victims less likely to be missed. But its gluttony was still too much. It attracted police attention anyway. When they closed in, it transferred to Elijah Jackson, another shelter resident, leaving Father Franklin's disemboweled body behind, another supposed suicide.
This thing is relentless. So Elijah Jackson takes it to New Orleans.
Right. Stalked the French Quarter as Jackson. But again, police vigilance made hunting hard, so another strategic switch. Into a local man, David Charles. To cover its tracks, it blasted Jackson with a shotgun. Violent diversion. Charles fled to Houston, only to be found disemboweled in his hotel room. Police, again, tragically thought it was suicide.
Which brings us back to Kenneth Braverman, the Houston cop.
Exactly. The Dischorder acquired him as its next host. As Braverman, it committed that horrific spree. 17 prostitute murders, cannibalizing his own kids, kidnapping his wife Elaine. When the heat finally focused on Braverman, the Dischorder fled Houston, using Elaine as a hostage, a living shield, and a future host.
And in Arizona, it switched to her.
Yes. Once they were the desolate Arizona landscape, it switched to Elaine. Then it buried the car, with Kenneth's mutilated body inside. It sustained itself on Kenneth's blood-soaked lungs, apparently, while traveling across the rugged Gila Mountains. And there, maybe fate, maybe malice, led it to its latest and most formidable host yet, Emanuel Santana.
Emanuel Santana, the Apache Special Forces deserter.
The very same. From the San Carlos Reservation, deserted back in '71, been living off the land in the Gila Mountains for decades. He found Elaine Braverman, sunburnt, dehydrated, wandering, decided to help her. Bad decision. The Dischorder was happy to trade a housewife for an ex-Green Beret, advanced combat skills. After implanting itself into Santana, its first act was devouring Elaine's corpse, leaving no trace.
Jesus. And Santana's memories led it somewhere specific.
Led it to a well-hidden cave. Turned out to be a sacred ritual site used by 3 elderly Apache medicine men, Palmer Valor, William Nikiz, and David Bylas. The Dischorder moved in, made the cave its new base, and systematically captured and devoured the 3 medicine men one by one over several days. And the truly agonizing part, the source says, is Santana, trapped inside, was horribly alive and aware of everything his body was perpetrating, just longing for death.
This is just a truly horrifying progression. Larva in a meteor cross-country rampage, ending up in this remote Arizona cave, leaving this path of unbelievable cruelty and deception. It's not just a monster, it's a strategist.
Its goal, the source says plainly, is just an ongoing orgy of intoxicated mayhem.
Yeah.
It was clearly pleased with Santana's body, this remote hideout, planned to stay. The implication is, while it's intelligent, it's driven by this really base hedonistic urge for suffering and consumption. A profound alien evil that just revels in the torment it creates.
Okay, let's circle back to those coyote tracks. Found at the buried car, the Bigay Ranch. You said it wasn't just a normal animal doing something weird. This is where things get even stranger, right? Involving Apache lore.
Exactly. Which makes you ask, when natural explanations completely fail, what other forces might actually be at work? The source material takes this fascinating, terrifying turn into Apache lore, into cosmic entities. It reveals this layer of reality far older, far more powerful than just biological predators.
So the Bigay Ranch. What happened there specifically with the coyotes?
Not only were the family bodies dug up by coyotes, but 25 missing sheep were also found unearthed. Yet none of it was eaten. John Rope, a grizzled Apache neighbor, immediately suggested spirits. It was clear all the Apache present were deeply uncomfortable. They view coyotes as spiritually unclean. This wasn't just superstition, it was this profound, ingrained sense of dread.
And this connects to Palmer Valor, the medicine man.
He was the catalyst for this supernatural intervention. Palmer Valor, one of the medicine men trapped by the Dischorder in Santana's body. As the last one alive in that cave, in total desperation, he managed to work a gag free the night before he died. With his last breaths, he sang an ancient Apache song, a plea for vengeance, for protection for his people, calling on the coyote spirit.
But he didn't just call a tribal spirit, did he?
No. What Valor unwittingly did was perform a ritual that reached out to a cosmic entity known elsewhere as Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos. This was not the coyote spirit Valor expected. The entity answered, but as something darker and fouler and somehow even older, a creature of discord and strife, deliberately masquerading as coyote.
Oh, wow. So Valor realized his mistake and made a bargain.
A terrifying bargain. He realized his error, but it's too late. He agreed to create a sand painting of this being. If he captured its true likeness, it promised to play tricks on the Dischorder and leave the San Carlos Apache alone. If he failed, it would devour him and torment his people forever. Valor, terrified, created an image of a handsome, vital man, perhaps of Middle Eastern descent, wearing what looked to be a finely tailored modern suit of dark material. He didn't recognize the man, but the entity, Nyarlathotep, did. It was Stephen Alcey's, one of its favorite human avatars, and apparently Nyarlathotep does not lose gracefully.
So what happened to Valor?
Nyarlathotep, furious at being depicted by a mere mortal, tore Valor's soul from his body and hurled it screaming into the nuclear chaos of Azathoth, its master. Horrifying end for Valor. But despite that, the entity did, in its own twisted way, uphold part of the bargain about the Dischorder. It seemed to begrudgingly accept the painting as a true likeness.
So it helped. But how? As Coyote?
Yes. Embodying Coyote as a trickster, Nyarlathotep didn't directly attack the Dischorder. Instead, it subtly undoes all the Dischorder's cleverness, undermines its plans without a direct fight, its actions, digging up Braverman's car, unearthing the Bigay sheep and other victims. It also dogged the Dischorder's steps with well-timed howls to subtly alert people, and, intriguingly, the source says it might even appear in waking visions to guide the agents. But there's a flip side. Agents disrespectful to real coyotes or Apache beliefs. They might face canine tokens of disrespect. Nothing dangerous, but unsettling signs. Chewed valve stems, something left in their car. A cosmic trickster's taunt.
So the horror isn't just physical anymore. We've got this ancient cosmic entity pretending to be Coyote, actively messing with the investigation, guiding, hindering.
Exactly. It vividly shows the hidden dimensions of reality in this story. The universe itself, or this malevolent entity, is almost a character, reacting to human desperation in ways that are both helpful and terrifyingly unpredictable. Blurring the lines between the natural and the truly unnatural, it suggests our world is way more porous than we think. Ancient powers seeping in.
Okay, so with the horrifying nature of the Dischorder becoming clearer and this coyote spirit subtly manipulating things, the hunt for Emanuel Santana really begins. There's a meeting, right? Setting the stage for the manhunt, laying bare all the challenges.
Yeah, that initial briefing with Hobson, Garrett, and Colorado's is tense. Garrett, the cowboy anachronism, keeps insisting with his drawl that the FBI isn't running the show, pushing state jurisdiction. Chief Colorado's bluntly points out the Apache distrust of the feds, that deep historical resentment, even while they all acknowledge the extreme danger they're facing. It's a really fraught, politically charged start to a desperate hunt.
And conventional police work didn't get them very far initially.
No. The impounded cars, fishing gear, tourist stuff yielded nothing useful forensically. The disorder was just too clean, too careful in those early stages, didn't leave traditional evidence behind.
What about asking about the medicine men? Did that help?
Initially, Chief Colorado's resisted, saying they were on retreat, basically, missing. If agents pressed respectfully, an apprentice was sent to help. But tragically, he just became the Dischorder's next victim. Just highlights the cunning nature of this thing and how even sacred tribal knowledge was limited against it.
Did agent research turn up anything useful about coyote lore?
Yeah, digging into academic sources or maybe an anthropology or a cult role for those inclined, it reveals Apache lore on coyote.
Yeah.
A trickster transformer culture hero, both a creator and a monster slayer, but also a blundering fool, a deceitful prankster. This contradiction, it turns out, is symbolic of mankind's own nature, capacity for creation and destruction, human duality.
And then came the dream, the direct intervention from Coyote.
Perhaps the most unnerving intervention. Nyarlathotep, as Coyote, sends a waking dream to the agents. It's vivid, visceral. They find themselves naked in the cold desert mountains. A coyote howls, then leads them straight to the sacred cave. They smell blood, sense this overwhelming malevolence, then snap back to consciousness. One sanity point lost, but now they have this unerring, intuitive knowledge of the cave's exact location.
And for some agents, it could be even worse.
Right, a more unnatural agent, someone more sensitive to this stuff. They might make eye contact with a coyote in the vision. They'd see it bark and yip like laughter, lose more sanity, and get this terrifying vision like being pulled and stretched across the event horizon of a voracious black hole. So the universe, or this entity, is literally sending messages, hints, blurring the lines between investigation and supernatural intervention.
That really highlights the moment you realize traditional police work just isn't enough, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's the aha moment. Conventional methods hit a wall against something so alien, so cosmically manipulative. It forces the investigators, and us, to accept that understanding the unnatural, even if it's terrifying, isn't just helpful. It's essential for any hope of progress. You're not just solving a crime anymore, you're battling something metaphysical.
So the trail dream or detective work leads to the sacred cave, the lair of the beast. What do they find? What horrors does it reveal? This is the confrontation, right?
But the stiver hoarder in Santana's body is waiting, armed with Santana's lethal rifle. The encounter is set up as a deadly standoff. It really showcases Santana's special forces combat skills. While setting up this tense, maybe impossible escape, the Dischorder, with that training, is not an easy target.
Does it matter if they arrive day or night?
It does. If they arrive during the day, the Dischorder, using Santana's caution, is waiting for nightfall. Its plan is to slip out through narrow natural vents in the cave, leave the ship behind, intending to come back for it. If they arrive at night, it's likely out hunting. It'll return within a couple of hours, discover the hideout's compromised, and flee immediately. Either way, it's ready to evade, using Santana's tactical skills.
And inside the cave, what's the scene?
Truly gruesome, heartbreaking. Two of the medicine men are just knife-marked bones. Palmer Valor, assuming the apprentice wasn't sent, is found bloodless, partially devoured. Same trademark pinprick holes as the Begays. Forensics quickly reveals the chilling truth. The three men were killed and eaten one by one over 3 weeks. A sustained horror show in that sacred place.
But they find evidence, fingerprints.
Yes. Bloody fingerprints lifted from the bones provide a shocking ID. Master Sergeant Emanuel Santana, age 48. Apache. Deserted U.S. Army Special Forces in 1971. Even linked to the CIA's Phoenix program in Vietnam, that controversial counterinsurgency program. His inactive desertion file suddenly resurfaces. A past long thought buried is now front and center. The immediate killer, the host, is finally known.
And the sand painting is still there?
Valor's sand painting of Stephen Alcey's The Man in the Suit is still eerily on the floor. This image, Nyarlathotep's avatar, apparently baffles the Dischorder. It can't bring itself to destroy it without understanding why it's there. Strange cosmic irony. But more critically, the Dischorder's ship is discovered. Camouflaged as an irregular rock, tiny, only 30 centimeters across, 2 kilograms, plastic-like invulnerable interstellar vessel. Opens only with a chemical log key to the Dischorder's enzymes, undeniable proof of its alien origin.
Wow. So killer identified, alien artifact found, changes everything. But raises that jurisdiction question again, big time.
Oh, immediately. Fierce jurisdictional squabble erupts. Tribal police versus the FBI over the ship. Hobson, cautious as ever, tells his agents to surrender to tribal police for now. Avoid obstruction of justice charges, even though it's clearly not a normal rock. Highlights that delicate political balance they have to maintain, even facing alien tech.
And the Dischorder, connected to its ship, it doesn't take this well. It retaliates.
Doesn't take it lightly at all. Before the fingerprint results even come back from the cave, it makes a bold, bloody, devastating move. A direct retaliation.
How so? What does it do?
Its innate, almost psychic connection to the ship meant it knew exactly where it was. This allowed it to plan and execute a devastating attack, aiming not just to get its ship back, but to send a brutal message.
An attack where? On the police.
Late at night, the Apache Tribal Police Headquarters is hit. 3 officers killed, a third of the tribal force. A historic, devastating loss for that small community. The scene is horrific. Officers found propped at their desks, handcuffed, the flesh of their heads flensed away, eyes staring from red, grinning skulls. No shots fired, no struggle thanks to the Dischorder's paralyzing neurofilaments. The objective was clear and achieved. The Dischorder ship is gone, vanished with its monstrous pilot.
God. And the coyote warnings.
People nearby reported hearing a cacophony of coyote howls right at the time of the murders. But no coyotes were actually seen. That was Nyarlathotep, its coyote desperately trying to warn the police. But its subtle signals, its trickster warnings, tragically ignored, underscores the limits of even supernatural help when it's not understood.
So dawn breaks, FBI confirms Santana's prince. How does Chief Colorado's react?
Deeply disturbed. He knew Santana as this reclusive hermit, quiet, respected, protected by the tribe for over 25 years. This shatters that protection, forces this difficult, horrifying truth on him and his people.
And this finally unites everyone, Garrett and Colorado's.
The realization hits them both. Undeniable force. Santana's guilt for the Begays, the medicine men, now the tribal officers. It's undeniable. They understand the extreme, unnatural nature of the threat. They cede full control of the case to the FBI agents. A desperate need for effective action beyond their own capabilities. A massive combined force is assembled instantly. 50 tribal police, 180 Apache volunteers, 40 state troopers, 20 U.S. Marshals, 10 FBI agents. Everything imaginable. Bloodhounds, trackers, horses, off-road vehicles, planes, helicopters, night vision, thermal sensors, all focused on one target.
And Santana, or the Dischorder in him, is on the run, through the mountains.
On foot through the rugged, unforgiving Gila Mountains, covering up to 30 kilometers a night, hiding during the day. But it needs to feed every 48 hours. And on the run, it can't hide the carcasses. Vultures, coyotes, both real and the entity, follow its wake. An eerie testament to its trail of death.
And Nyarlathotep is still involved. Still helping subtly.
Its influence continues. Coyotes subtly directing searchers to hiding spots, exposing ambushes. It's this full-scale operation against one incredibly dangerous entity. But the Dischorder, using Santana's skills, it still has tricks. It'll try to keep Santana's body, it's powerful, resilient. But it can switch hosts if it gets 15 undisturbed minutes with a paralyzed victim. And Santana post-mortem. Chilling stats. Moves like a ghost, shoots like Wyatt Earp, fights despite massive trauma. Effectively invulnerable to most attacks, a nearly unstoppable force. Ghost of a man. Alien malice.
Okay, as if an alien parasite and a cosmic trickster weren't enough, the story adds another layer. Shadowy government agencies get involved.
Yeah, and what's really unsettling is how fast the official channels get compromised. NRO Section Delta, that's Majestic's Wet Work and Dirty Tricks Department, moves in with alarming speed, usually about 12 hours after agents file any unusual evidence. Photos of the ship, neurotoxin samples, boom, they're there. Yeah. Operating with absolute authority and zero transparency.
Majestic. So Men in Black, basically. How do they operate? What's their cover?
Pretty much. Their tactics are designed to completely sideline the official investigation. They approach Hobson with legit-looking credentials. Air Force OSI, Army intelligence, and orders from much higher up demanding full cooperation. Their cover for the alien ship, component from a fallen Chinese stealth aircraft. For Santana, they claim absolute jurisdiction. Deserter, former CIA asset, national security threat, they even demand his remains.
And their real goal?
Confiscate all alien tech. Seize the Dischorder, alive or dead, for interrogation and dissection. They act fast. Confiscate photos, samples, lab reports, scrub the official record clean. If the Dischorder's on the run, NRO Delta runs its own manhunts. Dark green Black Hawk helicopters, no cooperation offered. IDs are real, names are fake. They rely on apparent authority, flat statements like, sorry, national security. Brush off all questions and their operatives. Trained to resist interrogation. Won't betray superiors. Get released quickly if captured. Chillingly powerful.
And they'll intervene violently, even during an autopsy.
Oh yeah. If an autopsy is planned, they bug the ME's office, plan to steal the body and reports. If any commotion happens, if the Dischorder makes a move, they barge in, try to subdue it with tasers. Even if it means killing federal agents or local police to do it. Their mission trumps everything, including human life.
So the agents aren't just fighting the monster, they're fighting their own government. A faction more interested in exploiting the alien than stopping the killing.
Exactly. It brings in that potent, you can't trust the government's paranoia. Majestic sees the Dischorder as an asset, valuable alien tech or biology to be exploited, not just a threat to neutralize. It highlights this profoundly dangerous difference in priorities, puts the agents, the public, at immense risk. It's a terrifying moral abyss they operate within.
Just when things couldn't get more complicated, another player enters. A new mystery group. But this one seems different, maybe on the agent side, sort of?
Right. It's the counterpoint to Majestic. Almost immediately after the Men in Black show up, agents get this cryptic call. Cellular phone, maybe radio, from another mysterious party. And it's green. This call is pivotal. Introduces a different kind of shadow organization with its own agenda.
Mrs. Green, what does she say?
Her message is direct, urgent, shows unnerving insider knowledge. She admits sending those earlier news clippings that helped track the Dischorder. Then the warning. Those spooks in the shades and dark suits aren't your friends, tells them bluntly. They're only after the fake rock. If you're in their way, those badges won't protect you or the locals. Let them have it. What you're after came inside the rock. Don't let it get away. Then hangs up, leaves the agents with crucial guidance and this profound dilemma. Who do you trust when nothing is what it seems?
Which makes you ask, right, what kind of organization operates so far outside official lines but seems to have a more ethical, maybe covert mission?
Mrs. Green's call forces an immediate choice. Believe her. Defy Majestic. They're facing the alien parasite, a cosmic trickster god, and two shadowy human factions at odds, all vying for control or destruction. A labyrinth of agendas and terrifying unknowns.
Okay, let's assume the agents somehow survive all this. Navigate the chaos, destroy the Dischorder. The journey's not over, is it? For some, it's just beginning.
Exactly. Destroying the Dischorder earns a tiny bit of sanity back, a brief, fragile break from the horror. But the real aftermath is way more profound, more enduring. This is where the curtain gets pulled back, just slightly. Reveals the true nature of their involvement in this shadow war, and the huge personal cost of knowing these things.
Mrs. Green contacts them again. Where?
Invites them to a seemingly random place, the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting in Phoenix. Her identity is revealed. Dark-skinned African-American woman in her 30s, wearing trendy, expensive clothes, mirrored sunglasses with very small lenses, and long dreadlocks. Looks like a record exec, if they ask for a name. She just smiles knowingly. If it makes you feel better, you can call me Ems Green.
And her pitch. Why firefighters?
It's a compelling analogy. She points to a polished fire engine. Explains Delta Green is more like firefighters, dedicated to putting out fires before anyone can smell the smoke. Then she lays down the choice, makes it crystal clear. If you want to be a part of that, then say so now. But don't say yes unless you're sure. This is one club you don't get to quit.
Wow. Heavy. Does she give them any history? What is Delta Green?
A carefully sanitized version. Origins after the 1928 Innsmouth raid when awful things were uncovered. That led to the organization forming. Evolved out of the Navy after WWII, focusing on U.S. threats. Portrays it as a clandestine interagency task force. Very pointedly not an illegal conspiracy in her view. She genuinely believes in the work. Claims, with this chilling earnestness, just about 70 years of saving the world.
But it's all secret. Off the books.
Completely. Due to the absolute need for secrecy, we cannot allow the existence of these phenomena to come to the public's attention, she says with conviction. The damage to society, both physical and psychological, would be catastrophic. Rule number one is absolute. Deny everything, said. Then she makes this powerful personal appeal. Reveals she knows a surprising amount about them. Says Delta Green needs good people like them.
Yeah.
But the catch is profound. If they agree, they become friendlies, kept deliberately in the dark. Sole contact is Mrs. Green, considered completely disposable if the mission calls for it.
Disposable. What an intense, harrowing choice. Join the secret group, demanding absolute secrecy, dealing with unimaginable horrors, knowing you're potentially expendable, all to protect a world that has no idea. And Mrs. Green herself, she embodies this.
Totally. Gives them a cell number on a blank business card, warns them not to follow her if detained, tear gas grenade, getaway car. vanishes as quickly and mysteriously as she appeared. It's a profound, irreversible commitment to a hidden war.
That just underscores the immense responsibility that comes with knowing the truth, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The world in this story is fundamentally different, far more dangerous than most people can even comprehend. These agents face a stark choice. Live in that terrifying truth, or try desperately to forget and go back to a normalcy that doesn't exist for them anymore. The price of knowledge, it seems, is everything.
And just when you think you've processed all of that, the story throws in one last unsettling detail, a thread connecting back to Nyarlathotep, the trickster, in a really unnerving way.
Right. Which makes you ask, what other roles do these cosmic entities play? What are the lingering consequences of encountering them? The narrative leaves us with this provocative stinger about Stephen Ellis's The Man in the Sand painting. It implies a much deeper, potentially dangerous connection.
What's the stinger? What happens?
It reveals that in some future hypothetical situation, if these same agents encounter Stephen Alzey's, the man from the painting, and maybe refuse his help, he adopts this hurt expression and says chillingly, "Strange, you didn't have any reservations about accepting my help in Arizona," then deflects any more questions with a sardonic smirk, leaving them to wonder about the true extent of his involvement back then.
Wow. So the entity that tormented Valor, the one pretending to be Coyote, somehow helped the agents in Arizona, maybe those visions, exposing the Dischorder's crimes, and it remembers.
Exactly. It highlights this truly chilling implication. The line between helper and tormentor is incredibly thin, incredibly blurred with these entities. Makes you wonder what unseen favors were really granted, what subtle manipulations were made, and what, if anything, might be owed in return. Suggests a cosmic debt that might never be truly paid or even fully understood, an obligation that could follow them forever. Masterful, unsettling ambiguity. Reinforces that with these things there are rarely clean victories.
And that brings us to the end of our exploration into puppet shows and shadow plays. From 13 mysterious vanishings on the Devil's Highway, we've journeyed through this landscape of cosmic horror, uncovering an extraterrestrial parasite addicted to suffering, a cosmic trickster god manipulating events, a hidden war between government factions.
It's such an immersive narrative. Profoundly challenges our understanding of what lies beneath the mundane surface, the insights into the Dischorder's gruesome motivations, the unexpected, terrifying role of Coyote, or rather, Nyarlathotep, the moral ambiguities of Majestic and Delta Green. It provides this rich tapestry to think about the hidden threats to our world.
Yeah, our journey today revealed that fear itself can be, like, a currency, that ancient lore might hold literal, terrifying truths, and that even when you're fighting an obvious monster, the biggest dangers might come from those sworn to protect. The whole definition of hero and villain gets incredibly murky.
This narrative really pushes critical thinking, questioning assumptions, confronting the uncomfortable reality that there are always multiple perspectives, profound hidden layers to any mystery, especially those touching the unnatural. Nothing, we learn, is ever really what it seems.
So what does this all mean for you? It's a powerful reminder, maybe, that sometimes the greatest terror isn't the unknown, but the unsettling truth hidden in plain sight. And the powerful forces that work so hard to keep it hidden, how many layers of reality are truly concealed from us? And what would happen if the world suddenly learned the truth about the fires Delta Green so ruthlessly puts out? Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary discussion. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning what you think you know. This has been the Uncanny Valley.